Hey, and welcome to The Office Field Guide. My name's Chris, and I'm reviewing every episode of The Office ever. And today, we're looking at Double Date.
It's just an arbitrary title.
Well into season 6 now, we've come to the closing episode of the Michael Scott dates Pam's mom arc. Today, we're gonna break down that episode. We're gonna talk about the arc. I'm gonna have a special guest, and we're gonna have some fun.
You give me a gift, bam, thank you note. You invite me somewhere, pow, RSVP. You do me a favor, wham, favor returned.
Warning! Warning! Warning!
I understand nothing.
Okay, so Double Date follows the day in the life of our main characters as they get ready for a double date between the Halperts and the
Scott family.
I've always loved Pam's last-ditch effort to get out of this.
Shipping emergency. I don't think I can go to lunch.
Oh man, that's crazy. Right as we were on our way out too.
I know, isn't that always how it goes?
Rarely, if ever.
It really reminds me of all of the times I tried to avoid Michael in season 4.
Wanna come over Friday?
Can't.
After work, you guys...
Oh no. You're gonna let me know when we're close, right?
How about this weekend?
No, can't.
We only had tonight free, and we really wanted to spend it with you.
Damn it to hell!
Oh, can't go today because I'm donating blood.
Your body only has a certain amount. Little dinner, dancing, drinks. You said you didn't have plans. That's what you said?
Kind of always wonder what Creed's into, though.
Turns out the paper was there all along.
Oh, thank God.
It's one of life's greatest mysteries,
Something's up. That paper was never supposed to arrive.
but in such a Michael Scott way. This lunch goes from good,
A gash, a rash, and purple bumps, and my teachers really mean, happy birthday, I love you, Helene.
to really, really bad.
I want kids. And you, unfortunately, have already completed that part of your journey down there. You have no idea the physical toll the 3 vasectomies have on a person.
And the resolution of this episode has our characters dealing with the implications of that one event.
Pam, she's gonna punch the crap out of your face after work.
The B plot has Dwight and Andy's nice off.
Dwight. Andy.
Dwight's trying to get everyone to owe him a favor,
You owe me.
but Andy's not having any of it.
Starbucks gift card. Surprise! It's for everybody. $15 value.
They have this extremely awkward back and forth scene in which they're trying to fix each other's wardrobes up.
Do not walk around with your jacket, cattywampus. And that needs to be straight as an arrow. Thank you very much.
Wardrobe malfunctions can be a thing,
Last Halloween, I came as Janet Jackson's boob.
especially when you're wearing suits every day, which is why I opt to live in graphic t-shirt land. If you're like me, you should check out homage.com. Everyone who wears graphic tees knows that one of the most important things is how the friggin' thing fits and feels. It doesn't matter how awesome the graphic is if the shirt's embarrassing to wear.
Do not walk around with your jacket, cattywampus.
So the fine folks at Homage sent me a couple of these to test out, and I've worn them in past videos. And I have to say, they're really comfortable and really well-fitting shirts. So you start with a great shirt, and then you have some great graphics to go along with it. And these have been worn by 2 celebrities that I'm aware of. First with Aaron Rodgers showing up to preseason a couple of weeks ago. And then, the other celebrity was me in a video a couple weeks ago wearing the same t-shirt. Anyway, they have a huge assortment of tees from several different fandoms. Hit the link in the description, use the discount code Wolverine15. Supports the channel, supports your closet, supports your wardrobe, and I also got the sweet Seinfeld t-shirt. I'm not sure if anyone's a fan of Seinfeld out there. Normal segue here, but as for this episode, clear something up for me.
I had a fish stick sandwich. Actually, I had 2 fish stick sandwiches. My girlfriend didn't want hers.
Michael's talking about fish stick sandwiches for breakfast.
Barf! Oh, you suck!
It is a disgusting sandwich.
But then he makes a joke about how he got him lucky.
Because I guess I'm the only aphrodisiac she needs.
Got it. Dwight takes that serious and says,
Fish sticks are not an aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
You're thinking of deer penis.
so I guess if I'm reading this sequence right, Dwight thinks that Michael ate a fish penis sandwich?
Apparently a koi has died.
It's a fish.
Is that right? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
When is the funeral?
Okay, but while we're talking about crushing food,
Whenever I try to make a taco, I get too excited and I crush it.
Primero taco.
that's a pretty great deleted scene, but I think I get why they cut it. Kevin's already devolved pretty significantly from who he was in the beginning to where he is now.
Because I need my nights free. I'm in a band.
So I assume cutting that had more to do with staving off some of the flanderization. We've come a long way from having any depth with Kevin.
It's just nice to win one.
But still in a simple slapsticky way, it is really funny. As new writers were taking over the series, this sitcom really moved from being about cringe humor and uncomfortable situations.
Someone has it.
And that stress relief effect is prevalent in those slapsticky lines, but there's some great callbacks to the old days. We've seen Michael's affinity for scrapbooking before.
I'm happy sometimes. When we scrapbook, the breadsticks are like scrapbooking.
You're right. No, I'm a middle-class fraud.
We know how Pam feels about being called Pammy.
Just want you to succeed, Pammy.
Old Pammy is getting what she wants. And don't call me Pammy.
And I guess we can't say the slap is too indicative of the stress relief effect, because it's not the first time we've seen Michael get slapped before.
Time my cookie. Time my...
But I'm all over the place here. Let's just look at this lunch first. The slow fade of Michael's happiness juxtaposed to the slow acceptance on Pam's face is very well done. Jim's reaction to things during this meeting, especially when Michael starts throwing up some serious red flags, always kind of confused me a little bit. Like, is he catching on to Michael's motives, or is he completely naive to what's happening? There is a deleted scene here, though.
God! Ow! Somebody kicked. Did you guys get kicked?
Nope. I kicked you. Stop.
I also wonder if this is when Michael fell into that fountain that was referenced in the last episode.
It was from the wishing well at the mall. You threw it in, I went back later, waded in, and I found it.
Fell into a second fountain. Can you kick me out of the meeting now?
Go.
Now.
Go.
And we also get this really good line.
Who is Kafkaesque? I don't know him.
But we're going to talk about that later. And the server interrupting the terrible conversation.
Utility.
Is pretty great. Super real. Michael's ability to make things so awkward and handle situations with almost zero class creates the best situations.
Utility.
Oh, yeah. I got it. What am I supposed to do now?
Well, hobby.
Stop.
So very Office-esque. Clearly, this was a mismatch from the beginning between Michael and Helene. They're both just each other's rebound.
You just had a rebound.
I had a rebound.
Yeah.
You're just her rebound!
But have some tact, man. At least break up with her the next day over text. And back at the office, I think to some, this is probably their least favorite part of this episode. But for me, it's by and large my favorite part of this episode. I love Andy and Dwight's dynamic.
You know what? I wouldn't want you to get tired walking around all day.
Every time they're on screen together, we get some great stuff. And I'm glad that Andy has something to do finally in this episode.
Dwight wakes up every morning at 4 a.m. and chases a mongoose around a beet pasture.
To give you a reference point, I'm somewhere between a snake and a mongoose. And a panther.
Dwight's being nice for nefarious reasons, and Andy's being nice because of some weird internal code. And I think they play off each other really well. But let's talk about the slap. Okay, the structure of this episode always kind of bothers me a little bit. Start with the intro.
Oh, no. I got a pumpernickel just for you.
Wow. Then you have the reason for the slap.
Utility.
And then you have the setup for the slap.
Pam, she's gonna punch the crap out of your face after work.
And then the slap. Here's what I wish. that this setup for the slap was the entire episode. Kind of like that mediocre movie Fist Fight from a couple years ago. Like if the double date would have happened at the end of the previous episode, and this episode was just called The Fight.
Fight, 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 fight. I'm coming. Fight. Go! Come on! Michael!
Or I guess The Fight Part 2. Slowly building the tension throughout this entire episode.
That's what she said. Don't you dare.
With more bits like this.
The power comes from the back foot, so it's all one motion through the body.
Toby, you know.
No! Oh, I just hope that this doesn't affect our friendship.
More Michael squirming.
I'm getting concerned that you don't seem to understand what's going to happen. Do you?
I'm good.
All leading up to the climax of this episode.
That's what she said. No.
As it is, this sequence is pretty good, and doing physical comedy like this is extremely difficult.
I wouldn't want you to get tired walking around all day.
I do love the quick cut between Pam right as soon as the blow would have landed. It's very WWE style. And my favorite joke of this episode.
Are you okay?
No!
You're okay.
Then everything comes together with Dwight foolishly trying to cash in his favor.
Fire Jim.
No.
I'm cashing in the favor. Fire him.
And this is the dumbest thing maybe that Dwight's ever done. I mean, I have a hard time understanding what Dwight grips as reality, but he's never really shown to be stupid. I'd say maybe bumbling and living in a fantasy world, but he's never really too far outside the bounds of what normal human beings would understand.
If you'd have told me this morning that today I'd be creating a monster capable of my own destruction, I'd have thought you were referring to the bowl Mose and I are trying to reanimate.
But this...
Can't a guy just buy some bagels for his friends so they'll owe him a favor which he can use to get someone fired who stole a co-manager position from him anymore?
It seems way too childish for Dwight. Maybe I'm wrong though, I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments. But with that, let's dive into the deeper meaning.
You think I'm the voice of the Taco Bell dog?
What does a bean mean?
Someone please explain it to Cap.
Okay, so if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, what I'd normally do here is hunt down the deeper meaning of this episode, using evidence that the writer sometimes cleverly put in, and sometimes I just kind of make it up myself.
This is what we know.
Today I thought we'd do something a little different. A while ago I had the privilege of being in one of 10K Productions' videos in which I got to talk about Andy's love life. So today I asked Bill from that channel to do a pretty tough assignment of running with the deeper meaning based on this one little joke.
Who is Kafkaesque? I don't know him.
And with that, take it away, Bill.
Kafkaesque. Kafkaesque. What exactly is Kafkaesque? Hey everyone, 10K Bill here, your 54th favorite YouTuber and your best friend. Kafkaesque is such a quick joke / throwaway that the vast majority of people who've watched the series probably didn't hear or pick up on it.
You talking to me?
Yeah. What? And it's not just because it's during the super uncomfortable scene where Michael breaks up with Pam's mother on her birthday, right in front of Pam and Jim.
God! Ow!
All the while saying it's purely because she's too old. But yeah, the word Kafkaesque is only mentioned super briefly. When Michael says, quote, "Who is Kafkaesque? I don't even know him."
Who is Kafkaesque? I don't know him.
Well, Kafkaesque, in the simplest of terms, refers to the work of Franz Kafka, a writer whose volume of work is so unique that an entirely new word had to be created in order to accurately describe this new genre, Kafkaesque. It's kind of surreal, but also grounded in the mundaneness of bureaucracy.
I want to handle it.
That's okay.
I feel like
It's my pleasure. Hello? Well, that's great.
It's sort of hard to explain to someone who hasn't read any of Kafka's works and instantly recognizable for anyone who has. And honestly, I'd highly suggest everyone watching this go read some of his works after this video. The Metamorphosis is a great place to start. There's a really good definition that I remember reading on Reddit a few years back that does a pretty solid job of giving a definition. Kafka's stories typically depict social, political, and legal traps and double binds where an individual aligned against a group or institution faces impossible to meet burdens for the story to resolve on a positive note. All protagonists face tragedy, yet the tragedy is not due to error or maliciousness on their part. It occurs because of misfortune, by often seemingly rational rules enforced by institutional decisions that one by one lead to irrational results. One of my personal favorites of Kafka's works is the short story Poseidon. The story revolves around the god Poseidon, who is incredibly busy with paperwork. He's so busy, in fact, that he's never actually been able to go out and see the seas that he's in charge of. He refuses to delegate any of his work and is causing his own misery. This is kind of the exact opposite of Michael Scott's work life, with Michael not being afraid to delegate the vast majority of his own work, and that allows him to experience the joy and the little things in the day-to-day dealings in the office. But that kind of brings us to why. Why was this joke littered in there? Well, the easiest way to look at it is as a whole. The entirety of The Office could be viewed as vaguely Kafkaesque, with us routinely seeing overbearing bureaucracies, impossible to obtain destinations.
Go to the spot and then walk 100 feet.
In which direction?
Toward the sun.
At what time?
Noon. You have 2 seconds.
Dreamlike logic.
Oh, okay. That's hard to keep track. How many is that per hour?
How's that gonna help you?
I will divide and then count to it.
Right.
Suffering.
Oh, I just hope that this doesn't affect our friendship.
Depression.
Depression? Isn't that just a fancy word for feeling bummed out?
Sexual repression.
Because of sex?
Hey,
Kevin.
Please, Kevin, you're fired.
And dark humor.
Wham! His kappa is detated from his head.
You have just spit on my face.
I am robbing the grave.
And on a more surface level, one of Kafka's collections of writings is simply called The Office Writings.
Oh my god.
Thanks, Bill. I'm sure it was awesome. I haven't seen it yet. I'm filming this in the past. But if you haven't checked out his channel, you really need to. He's got a ton of great Office content, lots of other pop culture, overthinking type videos. I'm going to put the link in the description. But with that, let's rate this thing.
This is the worst.
Okay, we all remember the infamous bagel cold opening, right?
You went all the way to New York City to get us bagels?
Oh, why? Is there a place closer that sells them?
Yeah, me neither. I will say this, Rainn Wilson can pull off creepy serial killer extremely well.
You owe me.
You are as creepy as a real serial killer. For real.
This is a fine precision instrument.
Right, Dexter, just give me the knife.
And is cheese on a breakfast bagel a thing? I probably should know more about bagels. I don't know. I'm from St. Louis. We call Panera St. Louis Bread Co. here because that's where it's located. And I probably go there at least once or twice a week to get coffee.
Or cookies.
Bagels suck. They're dense, dry, require a lot of other things to make them worth eating.
You're thinking of deer penis.
At which point, is it the bagel I like or is it the sweet blueberry cream cheese? And the bagel's just a delivery mechanism. Bagels are substandard breakfast.
Only 99 cents plus tax!
Someone comes to the office with a box of bagels in the morning and not donuts, that's a bad start of the day.
I think there are some bagels left over from this morning.
1 out of 5 for this cold opening. Sorry, I just get real passionate about bagels.
Disgusting.
As for the double date though, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get some hate for this, but this arc feels very forced.
Because of sex?
Hey.
Kevin.
This episode feels very forced. The writing has some quirks, and that's not to say that there's not some genuinely great moments.
Oh, God!
Michael, you have to put your hands down.
Put your hands in your pocket.
But the arc was clearly a grab or a hook for us to care about our characters after the Jim Pam wedding,
I could get a fish for a 5-cent worm.
when there might be a tendency for some viewers to just drop off the map. This arc only seems to exist to bridge the gap between the wedding and the more nefarious plotline that's looming on the horizon. And we could argue that this arc is too short to really be impactful.
Oh my god.
But it's not the length that's important, it's how you use it.
That's what she said.
Disgusting.
Instead, this arc seems to be the kind of thing that would have been rejected from the early writing room, and thus shows that some of the faults and the cracks of this series are currently happening. Like I said in the last episode, it's The Office, so how bad can it really be? Still, I'm just not a fan of this arc. I'm not a fan of this episode. I always slug through this sequence of episodes on every rewatch. It does have one very important setup.
Is this because of the 60-minute segment about working conditions in our Peruvian paper mill?
And that one line is exposing some of the deeper things that are happening in universe, and that does feel really rooted and makes it feel as though this is a living, breathing world. I really enjoy that, and we only get that limited perspective showing the everyman, and that everyman is Andy in this case.
Joe Sixpack. The guy who wakes up every morning in his $400 a month apartment wonders how he's going to pay his mortgage that month.
But it shows how our limited perspective of a looming disaster can be overshadowed by the drama that's right there in our face. But we're going to get to that next week in Murder.
A murder, you say? I do declare.
For now, Double Date is just not hitting that many marks of what I would consider a really good episode of The Office. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5.
Why can't you just agree with me sometimes?
So that's what I think about Double Date. Like I said, next week we've got Murder, an episode I love. So stick around for that. Thanks so much 10K Bill for the deeper meaning, and thanks to everyone who supports the channel in any way you do. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.